Hey, Gsauce, Samuel here. As of 2017, Brian Shaw is the strongest man on Earth. In fact, he is so strong that he can deadlift 500 kilograms or 1,100 pounds. But you know what else is strong? I know what you're thinking. This guy right here, but that's not what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is spider silk. Ounce for ounce, spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel. It has a very high tensile strength while also being incredibly lightweight. Spider silk is so strong that the United States military would like to develop a fabric made out of spider silk to use rather than Kevlar in their armor. But there is one problem. Spider silk is incredibly difficult to harvest in large quantities. Not only do spiders not produce that much silk, they are also cannibalistic, making it nearly impossible to farm them. To solve this problem, genetic engineers found 2 different ways that they can genetically engineer animals to produce spider silk in larger quantities than spiders can. A genetic engineer is someone who changes an organism's DNA to change the organism's traits or phenotypes. The actual career didn't exist until the 80s, but this is not the first time we have manipulated with the genes of organisms. What is this practice, you may ask? Selective breeding. Oh yeah! Have you ever wondered why there are multiple kinds of tomatoes, or why there are many kinds of bananas? Those tomatoes were selectively bred for their different traits, and those bananas were selectively bred from this thing. I know they used to look weird, but we're not going to judge here. This is the safe place. It's okay, Musa Bulbiciana. Oh, and have you seen what corn originally looked like? Here, take a look for yourself. With selective breeding, you only let the organism with the desirable traits, like a big or small tomato, pass on their genes over time, because those traits are hereditary. Anyway, you keep on doing this for a long time until you get something where all of the offspring of that organism have the same trait, except for mutations, but we're not going to get into that. Those are unlikely. Selective breeding is similar to genetic engineering, but is not quite the same. Genetic engineering works by taking a gene from another organism that gives the desired trait and putting that gene into another organism's DNA. Genetic engineers do this by using enzymes to cut out a gene from one organism and then copying that gene multiple times to put into a gene gun. A gene gun uses small projectiles made of metal with multiple copies of the gene on it. Then they fire the projectile into the cell of the other organism. That gene gets put into the cell's DNA and that trait will show up. You have to find the exact gene for that trait and see how the gene is regulated in the organism that has that trait. And, well, you get where I'm going. It is a long and tedious process. So now that we know what genetic engineering is, we can go back to the spider silk. The first solution to this problem is with goats. Innocent, cute, funny goats. Genetic engineers took the gene from spiders for spider silk and put it into the cells of a goat embryo. Then the embryo was put in a surrogate mother to develop. Later, when the goat started to produce milk, there were proteins found in spider silk in the goat milk. These proteins can be processed into spider silk. Nice job, genetic engineer. The other organism we engineered was silkworms. A similar thing was done to silkworms to get them to produce spider silk. This time they produced it to make cocoons, just like they did with normal silk. So the question is, now are they called spider silkworms? Genetic engineering is cool, but there are a lot of concerns from the public. Some of these concerns are legitimate. For example, people believe genetically modifying plants could create superweeds that no herbicide could kill, or that trying to eliminate malaria could spread the disease even more. So we need to think before we make too much progress. Genetic engineering is a very interesting topic, but just like anything, there are risks to it. And as for now, some of those risks the public does not want to take. And as always, thanks for watching.